Hey everybody, it's Matt here from theScore eSports, here with Mr. Dakota Cox, otherwise known as the KotLGuy, caster, personality, general man about the town here at the Summit 3. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling pretty good. Just finished casting 2 best of 3s with a little bit of an opener there, and feeling very good, very confident. This Summit event's going very well compared to the last couple of events. Not like those were disasters, but things are looking very smooth so far.
As someone who's probably casted his share of events, do you kind of notice that kind of gradual improvement over time, or is it something that you're just kind of like, it's kind of in the background, you don't really notice, I guess, until you're done?
For this event specifically, you definitely notice a huge difference on just the prep, the pre-prep, the plotting out, the learning our lessons from the season before and everything, and there's a huge growth period there. For other events, I haven't personally been able to be there from let's say one star ladder to the next. I've done the one, which has been a lot of fun, but they also had just changed locations, so that's different. Like Red Bull was the first of its kind. I mean, the international we know has been huge with its growth, so it's been all over the place, and just going from the Ben Royal Hall to a stadium is, I mean, that's in itself, you can tell that they're definitely growing.
You were doing some casting at Red Bull Battlegrounds. How is that different from your normal kind of not casting, excuse me, you're doing some hosting, doing the between host segments and that kind of stuff, and you were kind of driving a lot of the narratives there in terms of the unique format that Red Bull had. How is that kind of different than your usual kind of casting gig?
Well, for a while, my usual casting gig was a lot of remote casting from my home base in New York City in my apartment. On-site, on-land casting is definitely the best, being able to have the energy even with just your co-caster right there to feed off from, and then you take it a step further and you go on-site, on land, and then you have something like Red Bull where you can hear the audience erupt, maybe even just chuckle at a smirky remark you make. You feed off all of that, and it's just amazing. I got a lot of that when I was in theater. When you be able to get that instant feedback and gratification, it just makes you perform that much better. So it's an amazing experience. For hosting, it was definitely something new. Like I said, I've done stuff on stage in front of big audiences before, so even though I still will be a little bit nervous, I can feel a bit more comfortable about it, because you kind of put it all out there, and this is a younger audience than I'm used to, so you kind of wonder how they're going to take what you do, but so far it seems like it's been pretty positive.
I feel that there was a little bit of criticism with the whole format, because I think people found that the teams didn't take advantage of how the possibilities of colluding with other teams and that kind of stuff. Obviously with the first event of its kind, there's obviously going to be some hiccups like that. Do you think I guess comparatively, the Summit 1 was run, probably ran into its share of issues kind of thing. Do you kind of have to get through that first one event where a new format and a new concept, and then it eventually grows?
Oh, I certainly think so. Especially for something like Red Bull, that format is very unique. It's just like what they did for StarCraft. I think it's a lot of fun. The whole 3-strike system and the being able to challenge each other can make things very interesting and very unorthodox. And yeah, the first time teams could have, who do ultimately can decide their own fate or decide the fate of how the tournament's going to go, especially if they decide to work together and make alliances and pacts with each other. It could be very, very interesting. You could see some of the best teams forced to duke it out with each other and not advance on forward, and we'll get to see some of these other teams have a chance to really shine on the main stage. But yeah, this first time they didn't really take advantage of that a whole lot. I guarantee if there was another go-around, things would be pretty different, but I don't think all the tournaments need to have the same kind of format. I think something like this is, and this is a word I don't really like, but I think it applies very well here, is very refreshing. Very different. It created a lot of fun little tidbits with the whole challenges, the opportunities for teams to call each other out, and had a lot of extra content that made it unique. So I hope there's going to be more of it. It doesn't have to be like the format for TI or for these huge, 6-figure prize pools, but for something like that, I think it's very nice.
It's kind of the same thing here too. We've seen I guess a lot of community kind of memes or moments anyway that have kind of sprung out from the Summit anyway. But something that I was really curious about was that because there's so much talent, not so much the players. There's obviously a very stacked lineup here at the Summit, but there's also just a who's who of just people from within the Dota scene. Is it important to bring everyone in to kind of fill different roles? Because I think it just elevates the amount of experience that everyone has, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, with each summit and as it grows, like we were talking a bit about before, we have a lot more shoes to fill. We need a lot more staff. And yeah, you could just go out there and get anyone to help out with like driving, to help out watch the LAN center set up at the hotel, to be here to kind of do all these odd jobs. You could just reach out to anyone and get them to just help out. But this is a chance that we could reach out to people in the community who really love this game and would almost give anything to have a chance to come to the house and participate and help out. And maybe we'll get them in there. They'll get in the camera. We'll get them some time to kind of show their stuff. They're providing little extra bits of content for us to help promote it, which promotes themselves. So I think we all get to help each other out and just help the overall scene grow a bit further. So I think that's also something unique that you see from the Summit that you don't see from a whole lot of other tournaments. And it's a lot of fun to meet all these people as well, that you kind of see, and they're doing their little startups or their little podcasts or their little funny Dota bits, and now they get to be here and you get to meet them in person, and they seem to love it a lot, and we love having them here.
Yeah, it's definitely just like a little bit of networking, a little bit of like, I find that the Dota community, at least like it's a lot more, everyone just kind of like raises the bar collectively as opposed to like the little pockets and companies and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Right now, Secret and Secret and LGD are playing right now, but tomorrow we're looking at the 2 losers bracket matches, Not Today versus IG and Evil Geniuses versus Rave. I guess I just wanted to ask a couple thoughts about, or if you have any kind of thoughts or anything you noticed about those teams, I guess, when they were playing their not winners bracket matches, but their initial group matches yesterday.
Well, we all obviously were a bit surprised. So far, the trend's been 2-0s, a lot of stomps. Yeah. I mean, it's been very one-sided from all these teams. Yesterday, it was all Vici Gaming. They just kind of cleaned house. And today already, we saw Secret take them down. And it's been a bit crazy because some of these teams have been off the radar, especially with the recent patch. We haven't seen much from EG in a month. We didn't see much from Rave. We said before, for LGD, they have played a bit, but not against any tier 1 teams. So we don't know what kind of tests they've been having. And then we've been surprised. And in the midst of that, we've got a little bit of a rematch with Secret going against IG. Yeah. And then Secret, again, able to best them 2-0. So this is proving to be pretty damn interesting. It just was our first chance to see how these teams are going to perform, and they may not be out yet. Like teams like EG, who were coming to this as one of the favorites, if not the favorites, now they're in the lower bracket and they have to fight for the tournament life. So we will find out if that was just a flub and they're going to be able to fight their way back, or if maybe they're just not ready yet to play on this patch. And then for other teams like VG Gaming, we'll see if this continues to be their patch and they continue to be as strong as they are. And it feels like for VG Gaming in particular, they came into this tournament losing to a team like Empire, and now they're like, that was a mistake. Now we're gonna beat ass and keep going. And then other teams like Rave, a lot of people felt that they got snubbed on their invite to TI. I was expecting them to come here and play their asses off. Like, that was a mistake. We deserve this invite, and now we're gonna show everyone why. Unfortunately, that didn't quite happen. They got beat pretty damn hard, so not out yet. Hopefully they're going to be able to shake that one off and come back. So this is going to give a lot of people an idea as far as who matches up where going into TI, because we got, 6 of the 10 invites already here. So now we're going to have a very big idea as far as where everyone matches.
I think actually 5, or no, you're right with 6. Something that I was actually curious about is like there's a kind of a community perception that EG just tends to do bad on the first day of the tournament. Do you think there's any truth to that?
It seems to be the trend. I don't know if that's the case or not. There's a lot of people out there who have their tinfoil hats, and they're like, oh, we did it this way so we don't have to face Vici Gaming later on. We don't know that. That's for the players to decide. They could have gave it their all and it didn't work out. Maybe they did want to try to go to a different road. But in my opinion, that's a bit risky, because once you get shoved down that lower bracket, you make one mistake in one game, you drop that game, and then it could be that one game that would have decided whether you get to keep going or your tournament life is done. So I find that very hard to believe, but we'll have to see. But if it's based on that trend, EG will fight their way back from the lower bracket. But it's not going to be easy. We already see IG also move down. So this is going to be very interesting.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, KotLGuy, for talking to us this afternoon. I believe it is the afternoon anyway. Again, if you guys wanted to check out more coverage, articles, and live stats and everything like that, you can check out our app, theScore eSports. Have a good day.